Okay, welcome to NaNoRDU's Guide to Slack. We're going to start with a quick walkthrough of how you join Slack, and I will give Sadie a moment to navigate to how you get to that. You can join from the join link on the regional forum page. The regional forum page. And there's a join link. There's also a Slack link, which will take you directly to Slack once you have joined. But you want to start with the join link if you haven't joined Slack already. And you will sometimes find this on regional messages as well. But when you click that, it takes you to a join link, and you can join, either sign in with an email if you already have a Slack account, or sign up with an email, or use a Google account. So Sadie's going to sign up with an email. And when you do that, it's going to ask for a little bit of extra information. So we'll give her a moment to type. Oh, apparently I have to confirm my email address. I forgot I was going to do that. Eeny, meeny, what device has that email? Here we go. Okay. That will just take me a moment to get to that. I'm glad we did it this way, because I would have forgotten that it did this. Oh no, where is that email?
And this is the part where when I'm signing up for things, I have to change my passwords for 5 things in order to access my email account.
Yeah. I might cut parts of this later.
No, it's important to teach people that they need to have their email address accessible when they try to join Slack and or Discord.
Yeah, that is a good thing to keep handy. It means I have to sign into like 6 things. I hope I'm typing my passwords right. And of course, I'm not typing my password right. There we go. Why are you being a pain? Stop it. Okay, new plan. We're gonna use a different email because I can't get into that email. So let's use hcwthompson@gmail. So we can start over because that one I have access to.
Can you say it again for me?
hcwthompson@gmail. Yep. So we're learning something. Have access to your email when you do this.
That doesn't work. I do have an email address we can use.
Okay. Okay. It seems to have worked. Except that it took me to Slack and didn't take you to Slack. So you should now be able to go to, if you do this yourself, when you verify your email, it'll take you straight to Slack. But she should now be able to go to back to the home page and access the Slack. And it should let her put in the HCW Thompson email. And as soon as I'm done with this video, I'm changing the password, but it is my username, all lowercase. That will not be valid 10 minutes from now. But for right now, she can use that. Don't close that. That's where the script lives. Okay.
It's your Nano
Rebecca
username?
Stormborn, all
Oh,
lowercase. Sorry.
it's fine. I just assumed differently
Yeah.
somehow.
So if you join with your Google account, it'll probably make you do all of the normal like validation steps that Google makes you do, but there will be less of them because you already have an account with Google. Okay, so now you're a member of our Slack space. You're here. You can access it via the web. That link is on the regional forum, as we just demonstrated. You can also download an app for desktop, tablets, or phones. We're not going to focus on that, but pretty much everything you can do will be the same in all spaces. So we're going to focus on the web browser version, but this will be very similar everywhere else. On phones or the iOS apps and Android apps, menus might be accessed slightly differently, but all of the same menus will exist. So let's take a quick tour of our Slack space to start with. You can switch between Slack teams or sign out using the menu at the top left. So there's some other options under there as well. To access menu options related to your user, including preferences, custom status, messages, snooze notifications, setting your status to away, and editing your profile, you can do that on the other user, which is that one right there. So you have view profile, you have preferences. We're going to start with walking through editing your profile. So when she clicks on that, you can enter your full name or whatever name you would like to display to us. You can also edit your display name, which we recommend you set to your NaNoWriMo username so people can recognize you across platforms. In my case, it has an extra space, but that's fine. It'll make sure that we can tell which user is this one so I can get rid of it later. And I'm still umming. You can also add an avatar image. You can add some things under what I do if you want to share information with users. We highly recommend not filling in your phone number because you don't know who else might join this, because that join link is visible to everyone in NaNoWriMo, like all over the globe. You don't have to be a member of our region to see that link, so we discourage posting phone numbers. Be sure to save your changes when you're done. It's always important. Okay, you can also use the same menu on the top right to pause notifications. You can also set a schedule of when you want to automatically pause notifications, which is awesome. There are a lot of options under preferences. We're not going to go through all of them, but once you kind of get comfortable in Slack, we encourage you to explore the preferences and customize your experience. To continue our tour of the space, you will use the little left side navigation bar to navigate around. There you can see when you have any new replies to threads, direct messages, mentions or reactions. All of that will start appearing at the top above channels, and it'll show in bold when there's something new. I believe on the desktop app it's always open, but on browser it's only if you have an active message. Okay. Below that are all of your channels. If you have not joined recently, you might not see all of these channels, so you might need to use that little plus button to add channels. But if you have joined recently, you should have defaulted to having access to all of the channels. We will start with announcements. This is a space for ML's team to make announcements and share information. We ask that other users not post new messages to this space. If you have a question or comment about any announcements, you can share those in the general channel. Our next channel is a newer one. It's called Celebrations. This is a place to share achievements and other things you are proud of to celebrate with the group. Nothing is too small or too large for this celebration space. Partnered with that, we have our Commiserations channel. This is a place to come for some sympathy, support, and cheering up if you're having a bad day, writing or otherwise, and need to talk about it or get some advice or just speak into the void about what is going on. This is the place to come. After that is our COVID-19 specific channel. In order to ensure that our online spaces can be safe and welcoming to all, we're asking that all pandemic-related discussions happen in our COVID-19 discussion space. This allows those who may find the topic triggering or just need a break from it for a while to either mute or ignore the channel as needed. MLs and Slack moderator warrior minions will still keep an eye on this channel, but may not engage with discussions here. To clarify, this isn't to prevent you from talking about your day. We're all living in this pandemic, so brief mentions of something in passing during conversation is fine throughout the server. But if you have specific pandemic items that you'd like to vent about, get advice, or share with the group, those focused conversations should be happening in the dedicated channel. Next is general. This is our space for all general non-writing focused conversations that don't fit elsewhere, which is a very broad category. Hey Mod is specifically for getting help. If you need help, have a question, this is a space to quickly get the attention of MLs and warrior minion moderators. Random is our truly off-topic section. A place for posting memes and sharing silly videos. Think of this as the distilled procrastination space, which happens to be right next to virtual write-in. This is where we will host write-ins and other events. It allows the discussion to stay focused on writing and running sprints during write-ins. This is also a great place to run sprints even outside scheduled write-in times. Next is writing, which is your go-to space for all writing-related discussions that are happening outside of write-in times. And we also have writing music. This is a place to share your writing music, get recommendations from others, or post links to songs or playlists. We've even occasionally had some Rhymos run music sprints where everyone writes for the duration of a song posted here. So, okay. If you take a volunteer role for the region and become a warrior minion, you'll also get an additional channel where MLs can post information and announcements for warrior minions. So now that you know your way around, you're ready to post. We'll start in general for that. Slackbot announces when someone new joins the server, as you can see. So we encourage you to stop by here and say hello and introduce yourself. If you're not brand new to the server, you're also welcome to reintroduce yourself to all the new folks. And this is a great place to start striking up conversations. Slack does have some amount of formatting available to you. So Sadie might start typing random things from my fake user. There are also emojis. There's a list that you can choose from. You can either type them or you can select from the list, which is over there. And there's even some custom emojis that are specific to our channel, which are quite fun. We have dancing parrots and NaNoRDU logos and neat things like that. So, okay. You also have an option to react to messages. In the desktop and web browser versions, when you hover over a message is when you will see, ooh. And Slackbot apparently tells you things when you're new. So on desktop and mobile, when you hover over a message, you'll get this little dialogue of extra options, which is where you can add a reaction, start a thread, which is kind of a more advanced way to reply, or edit your message if you need to. That's under the 3 dots. So if you're on iOS, I think you tap messages, or it might be a double tap on the messages or a press and hold. I have iOS, so I don't always check what does what on Android before we write these scripts. So that's the basics of Slack. So that should leave you all ready to engage with your fellow writers or participants in a write-in. So we're gonna pause for another 5 seconds, because that's where I'm gonna end the recording that we're actually gonna post. So now we're gonna open it to questions about Slack. If anyone has questions or concerns or something that we didn't show you how to do that you'd like to know how to do.
Heather, did you want to go over reminders?
I forgot a bit. Yes. So if Slady will Slackbot isn't as advanced as some of the Discord bots that we have, but he can be helpful for calling sprints. So we wanted to post the Slack reminders text formatting. And that's on this slide. Anything that is in a square bracket, like channel and time, you want to remove those square brackets when you replace that with a specific channel or a specific time. But the other punctuation, specifically that slash at the beginning and the quotation marks, are important to make sure that the reminder goes off at the time you want. Because if you set a reminder like that first example where it says starts in 5 minutes and you don't have the quotes, the reminder will go off in 5 minutes because it sees 5 minutes as a time you're indicating. So we encourage using the quotes to make sure things display correctly. When if you're hosting a write-in on Slack or participating in one, you can even set up these sprints in advance. So you can add a date, like that second to last example, or just earlier in the day, you can set up various reminders. There's also a least possible effort version of reminders where you just get it to call the end for you so that it gives you that notification noise. That's that last example. Where like if you all agree that you're going to sprint at like 2:30 for 15 minutes, you can say, okay, everybody start at 2:30, and then at 2:30 you send that message to Slack and it'll remind you all in 15 minutes to stop writing. Or you can set that one up at a time. So when you all agree you're going to sprint at 2:15, you can say reminder sprint over at 2:30. And you can do things like in your quotations, like sprint over or sprint start, you can give your sprint fun names or include emojis like stop signs or green hearts to start or those kind of things to make it fun and quirky. So those are additional tools you have. And folks that have been using Slack longer, like the ML team and some of our warrior minions, can help in real time if you're trying to set up a reminder and it's not working right. So always be willing to ask questions. So that's for real the end. And now we will go to questions. And I will pause and stop the recording here